Most people will spend their entire life praying for something that God already put in their hands 10 years ago. And by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly what it is. You're going to feel it. And you are never going to look at your life the same way again. Stay with me. I want you to think about someone right now. Maybe it's your neighbor. Maybe it's someone in your family. Maybe it's you. They wake up every single morning with hope. They pray. They believe. They trust God. And then they go through their day. Same job. Same paycheck. Same stress. Same feeling that something is supposed to change. But nothing ever does. They're not lazy. They're not bad people. They love God deeply. But month after month, year after year, they stay stuck. And slowly, that hope starts fading. Not loudly, not all at once. Quietly, like a candle running out of wax. And the question they never say out loud, but carry in their chest every single day is, God, did you forget about me? If that question has ever lived inside you, I need you to hear what I'm about to say, because the answer will set you free. Here's something nobody taught you, and I mean nobody, not your parents, not your pastor, not your school. God has never, not once in all of human history, handed anyone a pile of money. Not Abraham, not Solomon, not Joseph, not David, not one. But here's what he did do. He gave Abraham a direction. He gave Moses a rod. He gave David a slingshot. He gave Solomon a question. He gave Joseph a dream. Every single time, God gave something that looked small, something that looked ordinary, something that didn't look like a financial breakthrough at all. And yet, every single one of those people ended up with extraordinary results. So the real question is not, why is God not giving me money? The real question is, what has God already given me that I keep calling too small to use? Let me tell you something about how God designed this world. There is a system, a real, proven, tested system, and it has been working for thousands of years. It works in nature. It works in business. It works in every area of life. And almost nobody talks about it in church. It's called the seed principle. A farmer doesn't pray over an empty field and wait for corn to appear. He breaks the ground. He plants the seed. He waters it. He protects it. He waits with patience. And then, and only then, the harvest comes. Now here's what's wild. That farmer has zero control over the sun. Zero control over the rain. Zero control over whether the seed germinates. But God never told him to control those things. God only asked him to do his part. And when he does his part, God does what only God can do. That is the deal. You do the natural. God does the supernatural. But most people are sitting in the field, waiting for God to also do the natural part. And that is why nothing grows. Let me say something harder now. You might not like this, but I'd rather tell you the truth than make you feel good for 5 minutes. God is not withholding your breakthrough. He already released it. It's in your hands right now. A skill you keep calling too ordinary. An idea you keep calling too risky. A gift you keep calling too small. A calling you keep saying you'll pursue. Someday. Someday is not a day on the calendar. Someday is where dreams go to die. And God is not asking you to have everything figured out. He's asking you to take one step. Just one. Because here is what most people don't understand about faith. Faith is not waiting. Faith is moving when you can't see the whole staircase. There's a parable that Jesus told. A rich man was leaving on a long journey. He called 3 servants. To the first he gave 5 talents. To the second he gave 2. To the third he gave 1. And then he left. The first servant took that 5, invested it, worked it, moved with it, and turned it into 10. The second did the same. 2 became 4. But the third servant, he looked at his 1 talent. He thought about the risk. He thought about the possibility of failure. He thought about what would happen if he lost it. And so, very carefully, very responsibly, he dug a hole, and he buried it. When the master came back, he was not angry at the servant for making mistakes. He was not angry at him for trying and failing. He was furious Because the servant did nothing. He called him wicked. He called him lazy. He took the 1 talent away and gave it to the servant who had 10. And then he said something that should shake every one of us. To everyone who has, more will be given. But from the one who has nothing, even what he has will be taken away. That servant didn't lose his talent because he was evil. He lost it because he was idle. He protected the seed instead of planting it. Don't let that be your story. Okay, let's talk real now. You understand the spiritual side. Now let's talk about the practical side. Because God gave you both principles and wisdom, and you need both to win. Principle 1: money follows value, not need. Here's a truth that will change how you work forever. Money doesn't go to the most desperate person. Money doesn't go to the hardest worker. Money goes to the most useful person. The person who solves the biggest problems. For the most people, gets paid the most money. Period. That's not my rule. That's how God designed the system. So stop asking, how do I make more money? Start asking, what problem can I solve for someone today? What do people around you struggle with that you already know how to fix? What skill do you have that makes someone's life easier, faster, or better? That is where your income is hiding. Not in waiting, not in wishing, in your usefulness. Principle 2: you don't need to be the best. Just one step ahead. This is the part people always miss. You don't need a degree. You don't need a huge following. You don't need to be the world's greatest expert. You just need to know one thing that someone else doesn't know yet. One skill they haven't learned. One problem you've already solved that they're still struggling with. That is enough to begin. And here is what happens when you begin. You get better. You get clearer. You get more confident. More opportunities come. More doors open. But none of that happens until you take the first step. Principle 3: if you don't control your money, it controls you. Most people don't lose money dramatically. They lose it slowly, quietly, dollar by dollar. A subscription here, an impulse buy there, a treat yourself that felt harmless in the moment. And then they look at their account at the end of the month and feel that sick feeling. Where did it all go? That's not bad luck. That's the absence of awareness. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. So start there. Know exactly what comes in. Know exactly what goes out. Every single dollar. Every single time. Then, before money arrives, decide where it goes. Give every dollar a direction before it reaches your hands. Savings. Needs. Giving. Investment. Because money with no direction always ends up somewhere you didn't plan. Principle 4: debt is a chain. Break it on purpose. I need you to understand something about debt. It doesn't feel heavy at first. It feels manageable. It even feels normal. But slowly, it tightens. You work harder. You earn more. But you feel like you're going backward. Because a portion of everything you earn is already spent before you see it. That is what debt does. It doesn't just take your money. It takes your options. Less freedom to take risks. Less ability to say no to bad opportunities. Less peace in your own home. So tackle it with a plan. Pick the smallest debt first. Put everything extra toward that one. Clear it completely. Then move to the next. Debt by debt. Month by month. And slowly, you take your life back. Because financial freedom is not just about earning more. It's about owing less. Principle 5. One income is a risk, not a plan. Let me ask you something honest. If your job disappeared tomorrow, how long could you survive? 1 month? 2 months? For most people, the answer is terrifying. And that is not a personal failure. That is a structural failure. Because one income, no matter how stable it feels, is one decision away from being gone. You cannot control company layoffs. You cannot control economic shifts. You cannot control what happens in the world. But you can control how prepared you are. Start building a second stream. Small is fine. A skill you can offer on the side. A service. Product. Something. It doesn't need to replace your income overnight. It just needs to start. Because 10 streams of $100 beats 1 stream of $1,000 Every single time. Not just financially. In peace. Here's something that nobody tells young people. And it destroys so many lives because of that silence. Wealth is boring to build. It is not dramatic. It is not exciting. It does not feel like progress for a long, long time. It is saving a little every month. Learning something new every week. Improving one skill a little every day. Day 1, nothing looks different. Day 30, nothing looks different. Day 90, still nothing visible. But underneath the surface, something is compounding. Interest on interest. Skill on skill. Connection on connection. Opportunity on opportunity. And then one day, without warning, everything accelerates. And people on the outside look at you and say, "Wow, you got lucky. That happened so fast. You're an overnight success." But you know the truth. It was the months of showing up when nothing was happening. It was the days you kept going when you wanted to quit. It was the small deposits of money, of effort, of discipline that nobody saw. That's the secret the internet doesn't sell you. Because it's not exciting enough to go viral. But it is true. And it works. Every single time. Now let me tell you something that most financial advice skips completely. Your environment is shaping your destiny right now. Not next year. Not someday. Right now. The people you spend time with every week. The conversations you sit in. The voices you listen to before you sleep. They are quietly programming how you see money. How you see possibility. How you see yourself. If you are surrounded by people who believe the deck is stacked against them, you will believe it too. If you are surrounded by people who think rich people are just lucky or corrupt, you will subconsciously resist becoming one. If you are surrounded by people who have given up on their dreams, your dreams will start to feel foolish too. Not because you're weak, but because humans absorb the environment they're immersed in. That is science. That is psychology. That is scripture. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. Proverbs 13 verse 20. So be intentional about who gets access to your mind. Find one person who is ahead of you financially. Study how they think, not just what they do. Ask questions. Listen more than you speak. And then apply what you learn. Because information without application is just entertainment. What transforms your life is not what you know. It is what you actually do with what you know. Now I have to say this. Because the internet is full of people selling shortcuts. Fast money programs. Get-rich-quick systems. Investment schemes that only work if you act now. And I understand the temptation. When you've been struggling for a long time, when you're tired of waiting, when you see other people winning, a shortcut looks like mercy. But I need to tell you the truth. Quick money doesn't last. Not because I said it, because history proves it. Lottery winners who are broke within 5 years. Influencers who blew up overnight and crashed just as fast. Business shortcuts that worked once and then destroyed everything. Anything built on the wrong foundation will fall when pressure comes. And pressure always comes. The only thing that lasts is what's built right. With patience. With integrity. With real value for real people. And here is something even more important. Your reputation is worth more than any amount of money. Money comes and goes. But your name stays. People remember whether you were honest. People remember whether you could be trusted. People remember how you treated them when you had power. And trust opens doors that money alone never could. So build the right way. Even when it's slower. Even when the shortcut is right there. Even when nobody is watching. Especially when nobody is watching. Let me bring everything together now. You've heard every principle I just laid out. And if you're being honest with yourself, none of it is completely new information. Work hard. Be disciplined. Create value. Control spending. Eliminate debt. Build multiple streams. Protect your environment. Build with integrity. Stay consistent. You've heard versions of these things before. So here is the real question. Why haven't you done it yet? Not to shame you. I'm asking because I genuinely want you to answer it. What is the actual reason? Fear? Doubt? Waiting for perfect conditions that will never come? Waiting for someone's permission that was never required? Waiting for a sign from God, while ignoring the gifts He already placed in your hands. Here's what I want you to understand. The servant in the parable didn't lose everything because he tried and failed. He lost everything because he never tried at all. And God, the same God who gave him the talent, the same God who gives you your gifts, did not accept fear as an excuse. He called it wickedness. He called it laziness, not because He was harsh, but because He knew exactly what that servant was capable of. And He knows exactly what you are capable of. He placed it in you on purpose. He designed it specifically for you. He has been waiting patiently for you to use it. And today, right now, He is still waiting. So here is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not after you get more prepared. Not when conditions are better. Right now. This moment. Today. You don't need more information. You have enough. You don't need more prayer alone. You need prayer and movement. You don't need someone else's permission. God already gave you His. Here is what I want you to do the moment this video ends. Write down one thing, one skill you have, one problem you can solve, one step you've been putting off. Just one. And take that step today. Not perfectly, not fully prepared, just moved. Because once you move, everything changes. Clarity comes, confidence comes, opportunities appear, doors open, not before you move. After. That is how faith works. That is how the system works. That is how God works. He rewards obedience. He honors movement. He multiplies what you put into action. God already gave you the blueprint, the gifts, the skills, the principles, the system, the instructions. Everything you need is already in your hands. You just haven't followed the instructions yet. But today, that changes. Today you decide. Today you move. Today you plant. And one day, not too far from now, you'll look back at this exact moment, this day, this video, this decision, and you'll realize this was the day everything changed. If this hit different today, drop a fire in the comments right now. Tell me, what is the one step you're committing to take today? I read every single comment. And if you want more content like this, content that challenges you, teaches you, and pushes you forward, subscribe, hit that bell. Don't miss what's coming next. Because next week, we're going even deeper. And trust me, you don't want to miss it.